Bumabalik na sa normal na pamumuhay ang siyudad ng Sugbo at isa na nga dito ang pagbubukas muli ng Plaza Independencia after 2 years of being closed to the general public because of the pandemic. Finally, it has reopened to the Cebuanos and to the visitors as early as 4 o'clock in the morning. Tara na, pasukin natin ang makasaysayan at ang pinakamalaking public plaza and park in the city of Cebu, Plaza Independencia. Okay, dito natin makikita kung gaano ka-historical at kaganda ang Plaza Independencia at salamat kan Senyor Santo Niño de Cebu at muling naging bukas ito sa publiko after being closed down for more than 2 years because of the pandemic. Well, napakasaya ako after coming back from Bohol because finally the main gate of Plaza Independencia has been reopened to the public after closing it down for more than 2 years because of the COVID virus cases and the pandemic. Because ang plaza pong ito ay ang pinakamalaking public plaza sa siyudad ng Sugbo and most people converge here to express their opinion, their religious conviction, and for family gatherings. This is the public plaza that most of the Cebuanos as well as the visitors come here for leisure time, for family bonding, and for the essence of democracy. Dito sila nagpapahayag ng kanilang mga saloobin at damdamin tungkol sa politika at tungkol sa relihiyon. But for me, on a personal basis, this is where I spend most of my healthy lifestyle with my late beloved mother because it is just mga 20 meters away from my main residence. Kaya dito kami parating pumupunta to do my early morning exercise. That's why as early as 4 o'clock in the morning, where this plaza is already open, I came here. And it is very convenient for me, and there is no excuses to do my early morning run in a 400-meter in circumference oval, surrounded by century-old trees, as well as structures that reminds me of the rich heritage and history of my beloved city of Cebu. Kasi sa harapan ito ang oldest fortification and military fort in the Philippines, Fort San Pedro, as well as the century-year-old na mga trees, mga acacia trees, at the same time mga obelisk structures of those national heroes, as well as Spanish conquistadors, governors, as well as historians who have contributed to the history of the Philippines. Kaya tunghayan po natin because maaga pa, it's 5 o'clock. So later on, I will show to you the beautiful, the historically relevant Plaza Independencia at ang kanyang historia kung bakit naging importante ito not just for the Cebuanos but for the entire Philippines because Christianity was born here in my island of Cebu, reflective of the rich heritage and history of our beloved Philippines, which started here in Cebu. Kaya kayong lahat, iniimbitahan ko na bumisita na sa Sugbo, sa Cebu, travel local, visit city of Cebu. And I will be welcoming you here in my beloved Queen, City of the South, my buntag Sugbo. Plaza Independencia is one of the most significant sites in the history of Cebu. It is a symbol of independence and freedom from all the conquerors that tried to take over the island of Cebu. Its century-old trees are witnesses to what the Plaza Park had been through during the colonial days. The changes of its name emulated its role in the history of Cebu. The park was called Plaza de Armas in the early 16th century and served as a public square used as a military training and parade ground. It later had its expansion to reach nearby properties of Cathedral of Cebu and was called Plaza Mayor. During the Spanish era, its name was changed to Plaza Maria Cristina in honor of the prevailing queen. Its name have changed into Plaza Libertad during American colonial period. When all the colonizers left the country and the land has attained its freedom, it finally had become Plaza Independencia in 2006. Ito yung tinatawag natin na memory lane kasi dito po may mga benches na kung saan ang mga magsing-irog or ang pamilya or ang mga bisita ay upo o they stay together and perhaps sharing their beautiful thoughts about their life or about Cebu. At saka sa harapan po nito ay ang fountain, no? Water fountain. May mga tubig po ito with harmonious music sa tugtog ng isang awitin. Sumasabay po ang agos ng tubig sa tugtugin ng isang awitin. Usually, it is functional every Sunday. At itong mga nakikita nyong malalaking mga kahoy na to these are acacia trees. Some of them are century-year-old and some of them naman were uprooted kasi po ang sa ilalim po nitong Plaza Independencia ay yung tinatawag po nating SRP tunnel. Kaya nga ito ay rehabilitated at saka kinuha yung ibang mga acacia trees na dated 100 years old at in-uproot po sila at nilagay po sila dito kasi po nagkaroon ng excavation at while ini-install po yung SRP tunnel na nasa baba po nito. This is the fountain at makikita mong lush of green. Kaya maraming pumupunta dito nag-exercise kasi makikita maraming mga tanim, mga halaman which is very very pleasant to the eyes. Ito yung nakikita mga putol na kahoy ay naging naging casualty noong napakalakas na bagyong Odette. Even the century-old trees have to surrender from the very strong wind, no? Talagang pinatumba ang ang century-year-old trees. And ito naman po ay ang memorial ng mga Japanese Filipino war veterans. It states, this memorial is dedicated to the Filipinos and Japanese war dead during the last war pertaining to World War II. Time has taught us a lesson that no gains have been achieved by victories in war. Ito talaga atin yan we can reflect that to what's going on right now in Ukraine and in Russia. A lessons that no gains have been achieved by victories in war. On the other hand, peace has brought about love and brotherhood amongst the peoples on this earth. It is therefore our hope that there shall be no more wars in the future to come upon us, and that everlasting peace shall ever reign on this earth. Ipanalangin po natin ang mga kaluluwa na naging casualties noong World War II at ipanalangin na rin po natin ang nagaganap na ang mga population ng Ukraine na talagang biktima ng marahas na giyera na digmaan na sinimulan po ng Russia. Panalangin po natin sila. They're beautiful. Tingnan po ninyo. Napakaganda po ng Plaza Independencia. Marami pong mga kahoy, marami pong mga tanim. And Ito po, ginagawa po to ng mga taong mga volunteers, no, to maintain the park. At ito po mga upuan na to ay syempre po kung may mga bisita. Kasi it is a public plaza, wala pong bayad po dito. All you have to do is to cooperate, maintain po ng kalinisan, and please dispose your garbages properly. Ayan, dito po nakaupo yung mga, every Valentine's po, you could just imagine, box office po to. Kasi dito po sila namamasyal. And what you see there, and that is the obelisk of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. Ayan, mga talagang kanang makikita mo na napakagandang mga tanim na mga halaman. So, that is very pleasing to the eye. At saka malinis na hangin. We are breathing clean air kasi we are surrounded with plants, with flowers, with greenery. Ito yung tinatawag natin na memory lane kasi nga pwede you can stroll around here with your loved ones. Ito ha, tandaan po ninyo, that is a very old obelisk built in 18th century. Makikita pa rin po natin yung mga kahoy na natumba despite aging 100-year-old. Hindi talaga, sumuko talaga sila sa napakalakas na hangin po dulot ng typhoon o death. Oh, ito pa rin po. Unti-unting nililinis yung mga kahoy na yan, that is an acacia trees. And malapit na po ang eleksyon. At dahil malapit na ang kampanyahan, ito po ang lugar po nito ay ginagamit po. Kasi napakalawak po ng lugar niya. Ang ang Plaza Independencia is the biggest public park in Cebu City. Usually, ang mga meeting de avance po ay ginaganap po dito sa public plaza na to, ang Plaza Independencia. Dito po din nag-converge ang mga taong malayang nagpapahayag ng kanilang mga damdamin tungkol sa politika o relihiyon, religious denomination. Malaya po silang nagpapahayag dito. At yung mga government functions, yung mga pampublikong mga kaganapan ay ginaganap po dito. And if I remember, sa nalalapit po na search for Miss Cebu City, dito po gaganapin sa Plaza Independencia. If I remember it right, ito po ay gaganapin on March 15. First time po na magiging ang pageant, beauty and brain pageantry na yan, na has been postponed for lots of times because of the COVID cases, because of the pandemic. Hindi na po gaganapin sa hotel. Ito po ay gaganapin po sa public plaza, public park na to, dito po sa Plaza Independencia. At so kanina, yan po ang Fort San Pedro. Kaya kung bumisita po kayo ng Plaza Independencia, aside from the aesthetic na ma-enjoy nyo, there are historical narratives that you will be learning kasi nga malapit lang ito for Fort San Pedro. At ito po ang ating makasaysayan, ngunit parte pa rin ng kasalukuyang henerasyon, ang Plaza Independencia. Okay, bisita na po kayo sa Cebu ha. Because you are allowed to travel now, make it in your bucket list. In fact, paunahin nyo na sa bucket list ninyo na mabisita po ninyo ang napagandang City of Cebu. Makikita sa Plaza Independencia, kasi kalapit lang nito ang Fort San Pedro, ang pinakamaliit at ang pinakalumang fortified or military fort sa Pilipinas. Ito itinayo noong 1565 or known as El Fuerte de San Pedro. Ito po ay nasa harap lang ng Plaza Independencia. Ayan po ang Plaza Independencia. At dito naman po sa harapan niya ang makasaysayang Fort San Pedro or ang El Fuerte de San Pedro, kasi po ito noon ng panahon ng Kastila, ito po ay isang malawak na karagatan. At ito po ang Fort San Pedro ay baling ginawang depensa ng mga Espanyol sa mga pirata. Kaya ito po ang pinakamataas na struktura noong 15th, 16th century, 17th century, at ito po ay triangular in shape. Ganun po, parisukat po ang kanyang shape para makita po ang tatlong anggulo ng isla ng Sugbu. Yung sa inland, sa may karagatan naman, makikita kung sino at ano ang mga paparating na mga sasakyang pandagat o mga taong pumupunta sa Sugbu para maproteksyonan nga sa mga pirata. Ito, yan po ang Fort San Pedro or El Puerto de San Pedro. Ito ang harapan ng Fort San Pedro, kasi nga sinabi ko na kanina na ang Fort San Pedro is triangular in shape. Ito naman ang harapan, nakikita yung mga cannons na yun, oh. Nandyan pa rin yung mga cannons paharap, kasi po ito po ang harapan ng Fort San Pedro, dahil po ang area po dito ay dating malawak na karagatan. The purpose of that fort being triangular in shape, this area way back in the 15th, 16th and 17th century is a body of water, at marami pong mga pirata na lumulusob po sa Cebu, kasi Cebu ang pinakamayaman na probinsya sa buong Pilipinas. Dito po pwede silang magnakaw ng mga basic necessities at kumidnap ng mga tao na gagawin nilang mga alipin. Kaya po ang Espanyol na gobyerno na sumakop sa Pilipinas ay naglagay ng Fort San Pedro na siyang pinakamataas na struktura noong panahon na yon ng 15, 16 and 17 centuries. Ang Plaza Independencia po have 400 meters in circumference, para po siyang yung sa Cebu Sports Center. It is along the road, kaya lang grilled po siya. That's along the road in MJ Cuenco Avenue. That is MJ Cuenco Avenue, so very accessible. And it is surrounded by century-year-old trees. Ito po yung mga kahoy na natumba, still nilinis nila. And that is the monument of Ramon Magsaysay. There you are. Kasi po si Ramon Magsaysay ay naging bahagi po siya ng history ng Cebu, dahil dito po this is the crush, it was in Cebu where Ramon Magsaysay died on a crash landing on March 17, 1956. Kaya nilagyan po siya ng monumento dito sa Cebu, kasi it was in Mount Manunggal, where somewhere in Balamban, kung saan po namatay si President Ramon Magsaysay. And to continue, itong area po nito, dito po you can jog around here. Ito po yung pwede po tayong mag-jogging dito. And what is very interesting, may mga kahoy po na itinanim, kasi nga most of the trees were uprooted noong nag-excavate sila, paving the way for us sa baba nito, kasi sabi ko nga tunnel yun sa baba, no? May itinanim din po silang mga kahoy. Itong mga kahoy na to na maliliit, I suppose these are acacia trees. To mga kahoy na to, kasi pag lumaki na rin to, ita-transfer na to, kasi ang vision talaga sa Cebu ay parang katulad na sa Singapore, yung mga mga main thoroughfare ay lalagyan ng mga ito mga kahoy na to ay itinanim dito, and it will be uprooted eventually. It will be spread on the different areas sa mga main thoroughfare ng Cebu. Malalaki na po sila. I think this was planted a couple of years ago, and that one, formerly Malacanang sa Sugbu, it was under the administration of Magloria Macapagal Arroyo. Tapos ayun, inabandon na sila kasi na naman, pagkatapos ng administration, wala nang kwenta. Ginawa na rin tong naging white elephant temporarily, and it was given to the city of Cebu at gagawin po itong museum ng Sugbu. That one, Malacanang sa Sugbu ay gagawin ng museo. And this is the veteran memorial. Yung mga veterans ng mga wars, nilagyan po sila ng mga veteran memorial. Kung may mga mga celebration po mga war veterans natin, dito po sila nag-aalay ng kanang wreath in memory, in honor of those who have risked their lives in order to liberate our country, to serve our country, and to protect and gain our independence. Ito po yung mga kahoy na sinasabi ko. Malalaki na po sila because I've seen this for nearly 2 years now. Ito po itinanim na para po nga it will be spread out sa mga different areas po sa Cebu. Na kasi nga we are trying to make Cebu green by putting up different trees on main thoroughfare. Mabuti na yon, so that to live healthy, to live with respect to our environment. But ako talaga, may appeal ako po sa mga taong bumibisita ng Cebu na please observe the rules of Cebu, and especially pertaining to garbages, dispose your garbage properly. Respetuhin po natin yung mga taong mga volunteers ng mga naglilinis po sa mga daan, kasi po ang Cebu po ay malinis. We are very conscious of the segregation of our garbages. At the same time, we live green. We respect and honor our environment. Ito naman po ang Children's Park na naging close po sa publiko for more than 2 years. Kung paano po nagsimula ang pandemic, close po to kasi bawal nga po yung mga bata na lumabas sa kanilang bahay. And I don't know, I'm not aware since I just arrived recently, kararating ko po lang gikan sa bakasyon, kung nabuksan na rin po to sa mga kabataan. Kasi ang mga kabataan ngayon pwede nang pumunta ng mall. Ewan ko lang po kung itong public playground na to ay bukas na rin sa publiko. Isa sa naging mahalagang aral natin sa itong nangyaring pandemic na more than 2 years ay kung gaano kahalaga ang ating kalusugan. At itong ang Plaza Independencia ay isang napakagandang, it's a very safe place where you can do an early morning exercise. And on Tuesday, Friday and Saturday meron din silang Zumba dance lesson dito. Kaya nga malaking tulong po to sa mga gustong mag-exercise. Early in the morning, they open that at 4 o'clock in the morning and they close at 8 o'clock. I know, I'm not even sure kung 8 o'clock. Basta bukas na po to sa mga taong gusto mag-exercise because it's nice. It is good to do an early morning exercise here like me because it is surrounded by security guard. Surrounded din po nito ng mga malalaking mga punong kahoy, and of course yung mga magandang mga structures that reminds us of our rich heritage and history of our beloved Cebu. So there is no more reason why wouldn't you be able to maintain a healthy lifestyle if you visit Plaza Independencia. Kasi dito po you will be encouraged to exercise kasi marami kang makikita of people of varying ages who do an early morning exercise there, and you will be motivated kasi nakikita ninyo sila na doing a simultaneous exercise. Katulad ng araw na yan na sumisikat, reminding us na napakaganda ng buhay kung atin lang alagaan ang ating katawan, ang ating kapaligiran, ang ating buhay. Mahalaga ang buhay ng tao at nasa kamay natin, nakasalalay sa atin kung paano natin pangalagaan ang ating buhay, ang ating kapaligiran, ang ating kinabukasan, ang ating bayan. And I bring back all these glories to Señor Santo Niño de Cebu.